announces its arrival with a crude mechanical buzz, a highly distinct acoustic signature frequently likened to a two-stroke lawnmower or flying moped. This autonomously guided, propeller-driven aircraft costs approximately $20,000 to manufacture, yet it routinely forces advanced militaries to fire surface-to-air missiles costing upwards of $3 million just to shoot it down. Deployed by the thousands across the skies of Ukraine, the Middle East, and beyond, this primitive piece of aviation technology is bankrupting the world's most sophisticated air defense networks. It is launched not from multi-billion-dollar air bases, but from the backs of commercial flatbed trucks. It does not require a highly trained pilot, it requires only a set of GPS coordinates. This simple drone has forced modern militaries to fundamentally rethink the future of airspace denial. But how did a weapon built from commercial electronics, fiberglass, and a moped engine become one of the most disruptive tactical assets of the 21st century? Media headlines routinely brand it as a kamikaze drone or a loitering munition. But from a strict engineering standpoint, the Shahed 136 does not loiter. It lacks the optical hardware and data links to circle a battlefield and hunt for targets of opportunity like an American Switchblade or an Israeli Harrow. Military analysts classify it as a one-way attack unmanned aerial vehicle or OA UAV. Functionally, it acts as a low-cost, low-altitude cruise missile. Its specifications are defined by absolute minimalism. The airframe utilizes a delta wing design with a wingspan of 2.5 meters. This specific aerodynamic shape was chosen because it provides a large internal volume for aviation fuel while remaining structurally rigid and incredibly easy to mass produce. Propulsion comes from a small two-cylinder piston engine mounted at the rear in a pusher configuration. Placing the engine at the back frees the entire nose cone to house a high-explosive fragmentation warhead weighing roughly 30 to 40 kilograms, alongside the flight computer and navigation sensors. Despite its small footprint, it boasts an operational range estimated between 1,000 and 2,000 kilometers. It navigates via a pre-programmed flight path using commercial GPS satellites, supplemented by a backup inertial navigation system or INS, to keep it flying if the satellite signal is jammed. Launch logistics are equally pragmatic. The drones are typically deployed in swarms using a standardized rack system carrying 5 units. These racks are designed to fit perfectly into the cargo bed of a standard civilian transport truck, allowing the launch vehicle to blend into civilian traffic. A disposable rocket-assisted takeoff or RATO booster propels the drone out of the rack. Once it reaches a sustainable flight speed, the booster drops away and the piston engine takes over. It lacks a camera and a data link back to the operator. Once launched, it flies blindly to a static coordinate and detonates on impact. Visually, its construction looks primitive, utilizing off-the-shelf components that can easily be purchased online. And that simplicity is exactly what makes it so dangerous. Iran's shift toward drone warfare was not a tactical preference, it was a geographic and economic necessity. Following the 1979 Islamic Revolution, the country was subjected to severe Western arms embargoes. The Iranian Air Force struggled to maintain its American-built aircraft fleet and could no longer easily purchase new Western fighters or spare parts. Unable to compete in the traditional aerospace domain, Iran was forced to adopt a strict doctrine of asymmetric warfare. If they could not build a multi-million-dollar fighter jet to bypass enemy radar, they would build thousands of cheap unmanned platforms that radar networks were never designed to detect. This directive was spearheaded by Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, utilizing the Shahed Aviation Industries Research Center. For decades, Iranian engineers engaged in a dedicated program of reverse engineering. Whenever an American or Israeli surveillance drone crashed or was captured in Iranian territory, such as the high-profile RQ-170 Sentinel incident in 2011, it was disassembled and aggressively studied. Through this process, they mastered the use of lightweight composite materials and autonomous flight control software. But rather than solely pursuing high-end reconnaissance drones, Iranian strategists recognized a different application. They realized that a sufficiently cheap, autonomous flying bomb could replicate the strategic effects of a ballistic missile strike at a fraction of the cost. The turning point for this doctrine occurred on September 14, 2019, during the attack on the Saudi Aramco oil processing facilities at Abqaiq and Kurais. A swarm of low-flying delta-wing drones, direct precursors to the Shahed 136, bypassed advanced American-made Patriot missile batteries and accurately struck the oil infrastructure, temporarily knocking out 5% of the global oil supply. The attack proved the concept. Their objective completely abandoned precision and stealth. The new philosophy was saturation, building cheap weapons designed specifically to overwhelm advanced defenses through sheer volume, a strategy that would soon catch the attention of the Russian military. Mechanically, the Shahed 136 is an exercise in ruthless efficiency. The airframe is constructed primarily from fiberglass and lightweight composite materials. This not only keeps the production cost low, estimated between $20,000 and $50,000 per unit, but it also inherently reduces the vehicle's radar cross-section. Because the drone is physically small and contains very little metal, early warning radars struggle to differentiate it from a flock of birds or background clutter until it is dangerously close to its target. Internally, the drone relies heavily on commercial off-the-shelf components. Post-strike analysis of downed units has revealed Texas Instruments microprocessors, civilian U-Blox GPS modules, and standard commercial servo motors to control the flight surfaces. The power plant is the Mado MD-550, an Iranian reverse-engineered clone of the German Limback L-550E civilian aircraft engine. By eliminating the need for military-grade targeting optics, thermal cameras, and encrypted communication arrays, the manufacturing process is stripped down to basic assembly. However, this reliance on commercial GPS introduces a severe limitation. The drone is not highly accurate. Its circular error probable, the radius within which a weapon will land 50% of the time, is measured in dozens of meters. It cannot reliably hit a specific moving tank, a mobile radar system, or a precise point on a military bunker. But attacking hardened point targets was never the objective. The Shahed was never meant to be precise. The true lethality of the Shahed 136 is found purely in the economics of modern warfare. To understand this dynamic, let's compare the manufacturing costs of American and Iranian long-range strike capabilities. To deliver a 50-kilogram warhead over 1,000 kilometers, the United States military traditionally relies on systems like the Tomahawk land attack missile, a highly precise jet-powered cruise missile that costs approximately $2 million to manufacture. The Iranian Shahed 136 achieves the same strategic reach for roughly $30,000. Even comparing it to American tactical loitering munitions reveals a stark contrast. The US Switchblade 600, designed for precise anti-armor strikes, costs upwards of $80,000 per unit and offers an operational range of only 40 kilometers. This extreme cost disparity creates a mathematical trap known as cost imposition. Modern air defense networks like the American Patriot, the European IRIS-T, or naval SM-2 missiles were designed to intercept advanced high-value threats. Firing a $4 million Patriot interceptor to destroy a $30 million fighter jet is mathematically sound. Firing a $4 million interceptor to destroy a $30,000 fiberglass drone is financial suicide. The attacker launches Shaheds in massive swarms, often at night, flying at low altitudes to utilize terrain masking against radar. The defender is forced into a lose-lose scenario. If they engage the drones with their advanced surface-to-air missiles, they rapidly deplete their multi-million-dollar missile stockpiles, leaving them vulnerable to heavier ballistic missiles. If they hold their fire to conserve missiles, the warheads slam into critical infrastructure. Beyond the physical destruction, the strategy weaponizes psychological exhaustion. The deployment of these drones triggers widespread air raid sirens. Because they fly slowly, the sirens ring out for hours. They forced civilians into shelters night after night, paralyzing local economies, disrupting sleep cycles, and draining the population's morale. In this new combat paradigm, destroying the drone often costs far more than the drone itself.
On Monday morning, Russia launched nearly 150 drones at Ukrainian cities, causing widespread destruction of civilian infrastructure.
This asymmetric strategy moved from theory to mass application in late 2022 when the Russian Federation began deploying Iranian-designed Shahed drones across the skies of Ukraine. Facing rapidly depleting stockpiles of their own expensive Caliber and Iskander cruise missiles, the Russian military found the perfect supplement in the Iranian OVA UAV. Upon integration into the Russian arsenal, the weapon was repainted and officially redesignated the Geran-2. The Russian military immediately weaponized the drone's long range to bypass the heavily contested front lines. On October 17, 2022, swarms of Geran-2s struck the center of Kiev. The targets were rarely hardened military bases. Instead, the drones were used to systematically dismantle the Ukrainian power grid, striking electrical substations, thermal power plants, and heating infrastructure in the dead of winter. Later, they were deployed against the port cities of Odessa and Izmail, deliberately targeting grain silos and export infrastructure. This forced the Ukrainian military to adapt instantly. They quickly realized that firing radar-guided missiles at the drones was unsustainable. Instead, they relied on older, more primitive countermeasures. World War II-era tactics were resurrected. Ukrainian forces mounted heavy machine guns such as the DSHK and dual-barrel Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft cannons onto the backs of pickup trucks. Mobile fire teams, equipped with thermal sights, laser pointers, and high-powered searchlights, began hunting the drones visually and acoustically. To track the incoming swarms, Ukraine developed a large acoustic detection network. They mounted thousands of commercially available microphones on poles across the country, linked together by artificial intelligence software. The system detects the unique frequency of the Shahed's engine and instantly plots the drone's speed and trajectory on a digital map, allowing mobile fire teams to intercept them. The skies over Ukraine became a proving ground where 21st century autonomous weapons were shot down by mid-20th century ballistics. Over time, Russian variants of the drone evolved. Production was moved to a massive manufacturing facility in the Alabuga Special Economic Zone inside Russia. Post-strike teardowns of newer Geran-2 models revealed upgraded composite materials and the integration of Russian Cometa M digital antenna arrays. These specialized antennas make the drones far more resistant to electronic warfare and GPS spoofing, ensuring they maintain their course even in heavily jammed environments. They also introduced new payloads, including thermobaric warheads designed to create massive overpressure waves inside industrial buildings. Despite its disruptive impact, the Shahed 136 possesses severe exploitable vulnerabilities. Its most glaring flaw is its speed. Cruising at approximately 180 km per hour, it is incredibly slow by aviation standards. Coupled with its loud, distinct engine noise, it provides defenders with substantial acoustic early warning, often alerting ground troops minutes before it arrives overhead. Because it relies entirely on a pre-programmed flight path, it cannot take evasive maneuvers if engaged. If a mobile air defense team can visually acquire the drone, its slow linear flight makes it highly vulnerable to conventional ground fire. The heavy reliance on satellite navigation also opens the door to electronic warfare. Defenders heavily deploy jamming systems that broadcast fake GPS coordinates, a tactic known as spoofing. When a standard drone's internal receiver accepts the fake signal, it becomes disoriented, veering off course and crashing harmlessly into empty fields. To counter the Shahed threat economically, militaries have accelerated the deployment of gun-based air defense systems. The German Gepard, a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun utilizing dual 35mm cannons and its own tracking radar, proved exceptionally lethal against the slow-moving drones in Ukraine. The United States also supplied the Vampire system, a modular kit that fires laser-guided 70mm APKWS rockets from the back of a commercial truck. Firing a short burst of 35mm ammunition or a single laser-guided rocket costs only a few $1,000s, realigning the cost-exchange ratio back in favor of the defender. Yet these countermeasures expose the ongoing problem of drone warfare. Even when electronic warfare and anti-aircraft guns work perfectly, the defense is entirely reactive. The attacker can simply absorb the losses, building another batch of cheap drones, and launch them again tomorrow. The implications of the Shahed 136 extend far beyond the borders of Eastern Europe. It represents a permanent structural shift in global military capability. The weapon's strategic value was displayed on an unprecedented scale on the night of April 13, 2024. The Iranian military launched a massive coordinated attack directly against Israel, utilizing an estimated 170 Shahed drones alongside cruise and ballistic missiles. While the vast majority of the drones were intercepted by a coalition of Israeli, American, and Allied fighter jets and air defense systems, the attack achieved a strategic goal. It forced a multi-nation coalition to expend hundreds of millions of dollars in aviation fuel and elite interceptor missiles in a single night. This democratization of strike capability is highly destabilizing. Proxy militias such as the Houthi forces operating in Yemen are aggressively utilizing similar loitering munitions and OWA UAVs to harass international shipping in the Red Sea. They use $20,000 drones to force US Navy Arleigh-class destroyers to fire $2 million standard missiles in defense of commercial cargo ships. Every major defense ministry on Earth, from Washington to Beijing to Taipei, is currently studying this exact weapon profile. The Shahed proved that a state does not need a $1 trillion defense budget or a 5th-generation fighter fleet to project long-range destructive air power. The technology is also evolving at a rapid pace. The Shaheds currently flying are blind, pre-programmed machines. The immediate future involves optical seekers and artificial intelligence. The next generation of cheap strike drones will use terminal guidance software to autonomously identify and lock onto specific targets using visual recognition, rendering current GPS jamming tactics completely ineffective. Militaries are actively developing interconnected swarm capabilities. Instead of launching individual drones on separate paths, future systems will network dozens of drones together. If a defender shoots down half the swarm, the remaining drones will autonomously communicate, reassign targets, and continue the attack. The technological barrier to entry for strategic air campaigns has permanently collapsed. The defining signature of this new era of combat of a two-stroke engine in the night sky. For decades, the doctrine of modern warfare was dictated by immense capital investment. Control of the airspace was the exclusive domain of nations capable of fielding supersonic fighter jets, precision-guided cruise missiles, and billion-dollar radar networks. The Shahed 136 systematically dismantled that monopoly. It proved that the most sophisticated air defense grids on Earth can be rendered financially unsustainable by cheap, mass-produced volume. It represents a brutal shift in the economics of combat, forcing advanced militaries into a grinding war of attrition against disposable targets. It proves that in modern battle space, the most disruptive tactical assets are no longer the most advanced. They are simply the cheapest to build and the hardest to ignore. In the future of warfare, the crude mechanical sound of small engines in the night may matter far more than the roar of a jet fighter.